The following news flash is brought to you by the Lone Star Lowdown, providing your daily bulletins for the commodities market. Today in history, news updates, and the inside scoop into the tides of the alternative. Markets for Monday, the 25th of April, 2016, are currently trading with gold at $1,237.77 an ounce, silver $16.97 an ounce, Texas crude $43.73 a barrel, and Bitcoin is currently at about 471 U.S. currency. Today in history, the year 1846, the Thornton Affair, also known as the Thornton Skirmish, Thornton's defeat, or Rancho Cardecitos, was a battle between the military forces of the United States and Mexico along the Rio Grande. The Mexican forces defeated the Americans in the opening of the hostilities and was the primary justification for U.S. President James Polk's call to Congress to declare war, the beginning of the Mexican-American War. Today in history. In recent news, the U.S. is ranked 41 out of 180 countries in the Reporters Without Borders World Press Freedom Index, though the organization notes that the U.S. has moved from 49th in 2015 to 41st this year. However, the U.S. government's war on whistleblowers and the country's lack of a shield law, which would allow journalists to protect confidential sources, does maintain a negative view of U.S. press freedom. Obama's Justice Department has cracked down on reporters in an effort to prevent leaks. It has also set a new record for withholding access to government files under the Freedom of Information Act, despite his calling for a new era of openness on the first day of office. And photojournalists in 2013 from several major news organizations criticized the Obama administration for denying their right to photograph or videotape the president while he was performing his official duties. Finland, the Netherlands, Norway, and Denmark all ranked in the top 4 spots, while Syria, Turkmenistan, North Korea, and Eritrea are in the last 4. 2 Swiss pilots, Bernard Piccard and André Borchardt, are taking turns flying a solar-powered airplane around the world. The plane, the Solar Impulse 2, took off from Dubai, the capital of the United Arab Emirates, in March of 2015. It made stops in Oman, Myanmar, China, Japan, and Hawaii. The aircraft did encounter a few turbulences along the way. It had to land in Hawaii in July and was forced to stay on the island after the plane's battery system sustained heat damages on its trip from Japan. The team was delayed in Asia as well when attempting to fly from Nanjing, China, due to unfavorable weather and a damaged wing. A whole month later, when better weather conditions arose, the plane left Nagoya in central Japan for Hawaii. Solar Impulse 2 will make 3 more stops in the United States before crossing the Atlantic Ocean to Europe or Northern Africa, according to the website documenting the epic journey. This is Rick Brody with your lowdown for April 25th, 2016.
Logos Radio Network presents The Truth Exposed Radio Show every Wednesday 6 to 8 p.m., bringing to you breakdowns on current events, history, and philosophy with your host, Rick Brody, Marshall Soul, and Cuddy Rowe. Welcome and thank you for tuning in.
April 27th, 2016. This is Truth Exposed here on the Logos Radio Network. I am one of your co-hosts, Cuddy Rowe.
With Marshall Soul,
Rick Brody. And we're live, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hopefully you woke up this morning and smelled that fascism out in the air.
Statism.
Yeah, it didn't smell too good.
No, it doesn't. I think it causes cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's, yeah, right?
It smells pretty stanky.
It's coming down the drains. It surely is. It's raining it.
Yeah.
But yeah, every day, every week, it seems like just status against state. Seems like it just keeps coming, ain't it?
You know, every day there's just a new level of awe, like how far everything is just gone down,
sliding off like an avalanche.
Exactly. I mean, I thought I was in awe like last week and the week before that and the week before that, and it just
10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. It just never ceases to amaze me how far down the...
Well, it's because you're not directly in the web to be caught up in the acclimation process.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
We don't watch TV anymore.
No.
Yep. That's a big part of it because, you know, that's a way they get you to just, you know, it just kind of floats over your head when you're indoctrinated through the tube.
And that's what we try to shatter here on Truth Exposed Radio. We try to bring things down to earth, trying to shatter the paradigms, trying to shatter the sophisms that the propagandists try to push on us. And we really like covering a lot of the main events, a lot of philosophy, history. economics, even getting into a little bit of theology, but we all try to cover it from the libertarian / truth perspective, whatever truth leads to. We just have to embrace that, learn to change our ways and our attitudes to adjust to it. So, and that's what we enjoy doing. Hopefully you guys enjoy coming along with the ride, and we are going to keep lines open for the public. We always like keeping free speech as a foundational principle on the show, so definitely feel free to call in 512-646-1984.
No, that's a free speech according to the FCC regulations, no cursing or anything like that.
Yeah, it's not that free.
Yeah. People's airwaves.
Yeah.
I'm sure. And got quite a articles to cover here. Interesting things that's been happening this week.
Yeah, where should we even start? I mean,
you got what's going on in Flint, Michigan with people dropping dead left and right.
Yeah. People dropping like flies.
And it's not just because they drank the water.
Yeah.
That one takes a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Suspicious deaths. Definitely some suspicious deaths over there in Flint, Michigan. In one case, the governor was being implicated, but that person had died. And the foreman that was at one of the plants died as well.
Yep. I think there's 2 or 3 people now, suspiciously.
Yeah, we'll be pulling up info on that, breaking that down a little bit, see where that leads. Good old Bernie Sanders wants to keep y'all from feeling the burn.
Yeah, but don't burn them cigarettes.
Don't burn them cigarettes. Keep from feeling the burn of the carcinogens into your lungs. Apparently, he suggested making cigarettes illegal. We can't even fathom why they're still legal.
Hitler did that too.
Oh, did he?
Hey, overnight though, all the pot smokers will be good guys, and then all the cigarette smokers are going to be bad guys.
It'll be like tobacco prohibition. You're burning your cartons in the streets.
Yeah, right.
Go to the speakeasies, get your stokes.
And really not to do the whole blanket statement of starting to compare people to Hitler. I mean, that is an extreme, but nonetheless to call for the banning or the illegality of cigarettes while at the same time claiming that you're going to end the drug war.
Extreme.
Seems a walking contradiction.
Definitely. Bernie's good at those,
isn't he?
He's awesome at those. He's like the
free
awesomest.
sandwiches.
Yeah. It's like the master at contradicting himself.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
It's because he mesmerizes you with that wandering hand of his.
And just interesting things, and of course, with the minimum wage being hiked up in certain states, they're definitely feeling the burn of economic interventionism by having a bunch of universities lay off lower end workers, custodians, and whatnot. These same highly progressivist universities that call for these same intervention.
They got to make that budget. They got to make their cuts to meet the budget.
Well, yeah, who would have figured they had to actually do some math? But so we'll definitely be talking about that and kind of analyzing if it's wages we should be worried about, or all the government regulation and licensing and the printing of the money that causes inflation and causes prices to rise, and really getting to the root of the problem when it comes to money and all that. So, and of course we got the good old John Locke wrapping up his take on property,
which is key, and knowing where your rights derive from. The reason why we're so tedious in covering all this information.
Yeah, because you have to define property, because you have to understand that your body is your property, and that's where the right begins.
Yes. And then as soon as you use your body, your energy, and your time to transform something in nature, then it becomes yours.
Yeah, and we do have the Supreme Court ruling on the whole transgender...
Transformers, more than meets the eye.
bathroom situation. Definitely would be interesting to analyze that from a proprietarian, from a libertarian perspective. Where do we take a stand? How do we properly analyze these highly fallacious and sensational issues that just bring in the feels, reel in the feels?
Property rights and private business. So if you don't like if that business accommodates somebody, don't go there.
Don't go there.
Go somewhere that has your values.
If they lose enough business to where it becomes a big deal and to where they need to fill that void, then they might spill some milk to do so. It's up to the individual choice of the owner. It's the private property owner,
Yeah. Well, in this particular, definitely agree with that.
So many clubs won't let you in due to dress code.
Right. No,
there are gyms that won't let you go in there because you're not a particular, you're not a male or female. How are the all-female gyms going to relate to having, somebody that identifies as a female but wasn't born as such? How are they going to come?
Well, and it's up to them.
And I think, right. And I think with this particular case, it had to do with school, so it does get a little bit more muddled up here when it comes to whatever tax funded.
Yes, because
public
that is
space.
That's public funded space. That's a government indoctrination center. Your schools.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll take that, break that down, and of course conclude with the private property and really analyze that. So we got quite a thing lined up for you guys, quite a show lined up. So we definitely encourage you guys to stick around for it.
Yes,
So
sir.
all you got to do is YouTube Bernie Sanders suggests cigarettes should be made illegal. And I think this came up with the issue with soda taxes, and they're asking him, what he thought about soda taxes. And
I drink sodas, so
yeah, and
sodas are okay.
yeah, right.
Cigarettes illegal.
Yeah, right. And I mean, his main issue was, a lot of poor folk, a lot of lower end, economic bracket, people tend to drink a lot of soda. So taxing soda would only put a bigger economic burden on them.
And then put them in jail. They smoke cigarettes too.
But with cigarettes, I mean, that kind of seemed to have flung over his mind. I guess he doesn't really go out and walk around in the streets too much of Vermont. I guess he doesn't, because if you were to do so, you kind of realize that pretty much every homeless person I've come across is constantly asking me for a cigarette. I mean, I don't know if you guys get that too.
Yeah, they're definitely not going to get one now.
First, you can't give them a sandwich unless you got a food processing line. Now you can't give them a cigarette because,
Yep.
God forbid you.
Yeah, they're illegal now.
Yeah. Well, and really, what's the heart of this issue, ladies and gentlemen? I mean, what's it all going towards? What's it all, I guess, based on? And I can't help but think about universal health care when I think about controlling what we intake into our bodies.
Yeah. Good point. Very good point.
It seems that once the bureaucrats in Washington have decided to offer everyone so kindly and benevolently free health care.
It's only the next step, right? To make sure that their health stays good, so they don't need the health care.
Yeah.
Right. Once we're all accommodating everybody else's healthcare and having to pay into something, we're going to start saying, hey, we shouldn't have to pay for that guy who does this, and they have this condition because they eat too much, or they have this condition because they smoke cigarettes, or because they did drugs, or this, that, and the other. So then you start demonizing particular people, and then you start regulating them and penalizing them through taxation and fees and fines.
Definitely. Yeah.
And, once Occupy has their way and they, categorize and they track and trace every single little thing, every transaction, then, they'll be able to stop those things. You're not going to be able to get your extra large pizza and your 3 liter of soda because, they say you're a little bit too overweight.
Hey, and in case you might be smuggling some pizza and cigarettes, you might have to report and give a monthly piss test to see what all you're eating, what's all on your diet.
No, it's going to be a stool sample.
Yeah. You guys ever watch the movie The Island, where they're like regulating the amount of bacon the guy can eat or whatever? They're like clones and for the rich and the elite. And basically they have them under strict, guidelines and strict controls, and the computer system monitors their bowel movements and their urinals and everything.
Well,
and
once we get the smart toilets in place, Rick, we're gonna monitor that too. Make sure you're not, we've got too much at risk here.
Yeah, you can't destroy yourself now.
No,
that's government property.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you're the means of production, and we got to control that. We got to own that.
You got to make sure you're healthy, Rick. We want you to be able to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah, right. That's
yeah, we don't need slow slaves.
Yeah. No, I mean, and really, this is something really we can't emphasize enough, ladies and gentlemen. Once government starts giving us free anything, we expect as if somehow these free, whole litany of things, all these free goodies are going to somehow be up to us to decide how we want to use them.
The only way government can give you anything is to take it from someone else.
But other countries,
for sure,
but do it, guys. Though
we assume that with free education.
Well, if all the other countries jumped off a bridge, would you do the same?
Well, they did. I would.
Right. But yeah, we assume that with free education, you're just going to be able to study whatever you want and get into the workforce wherever you so please and decide to go into, whatever fits your fancy. But in fact, it seems very probable and very likely that once universal education, free education is given to everybody, I mean, is it really that far of a stretch to have government then deciding based on some test they give you where you should work, what field you should take, what field of study you should take?
System.
Yeah, definitely. And they'll make sure, you stay down, and the other people they choose to will, get the better education.
You are listening to the Logos Radio Network. LogosRadioNetwork.com.
Hello, mate. All right? Yeah, I'm all right.
For once in my life, I've got something to say. I want to say it now, but now is today. The love has been given, should grab and enjoy. So let's all grab and let's all enjoy. If the kiss, are you nothing? It will never
Truth Exposed Radio right here on the Logos Radio Network. We were just leaving off with some Bernie Sanders here, feeling the burn. Want to stop the burn of the tobacco.
Feeling the bread lines. Feel them. They're good. You know, see, poor people will finally, since the police won't let us voluntarily go out and feed people with decent, good sandwiches, you know, we're going to have just bread for them. Bread lines for them.
Then you got to get in the other line for the block of cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you can't have bread without no cheese.
Bologna.
A bunch of baloney.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were just ranting on their last segment about the idea of, you know, getting anything free from the government. Not only is it come at there's no such thing as a free sandwich.
There's no such thing as free anything.
Free anything, yeah, obviously. But when you get something for free, you better bet they're going to control the way you use it. Thus, if you get free food, any kind of competing food against the free government food that they hand out
is a no-no.
Is demonized and made illegal. Free education, you try to form any kind of alternative institution of learning, you try to get your own degree some other way, hey, you ain't certified. Sorry.
Try to be a doctor without going to the Rockefeller School of Medicine. Yeah, not going to happen.
Yeah,
joining the American Medical Association.
Exactly.
Join the union, right?
Yeah.
You got your bar card, Cuddy?
Yeah, exactly. To be a lawyer, right? The monopoly on everything.
Join the union.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and we think that somehow free education and free healthcare provided by the government is going to somehow give us more options or more decision making, more power to our lives. When in fact it's the exact opposite, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, a non-central education plan where people come together and choose businesses to provide education, or you just do it yourself. There's private businesses out there, private schools that accommodate, and if they are not doing a good job, they lose attendance based on that. And so they want to provide a good product to the children, and to the parents.
And these days, I mean, you don't even need school. I mean, you can go on the internet and look up.
Yeah, how many
damn near
courses?
Everything. Yeah.
I know I've sat through a couple, what was it, a Stanford course that was going over like American history and world history. I think it was 72 hours long. This guy just set it up in his classroom, and it was the teacher who had presented it.
I mean, you can learn everything, though. I mean, programming, video editing, graphics, all kinds of, you name it. How to fix the kitchen sink,
Yeah, no, definitely. It often seems that those that are self-taught are a lot more qualified at their expertise than those that just sit through a classroom.
Self-taught is through experience.
Yeah, exactly.
And through passion.
Yeah,
exactly.
And you have a desire to learn it versus, hey, my parents are making me go to school, or hey,
and at school they're making me learn this, and I don't even want to care about it. Yeah.
And then all I have to do is take a monkey, fill in the ABC, pick and choose test. So standardized testing or whatever.
Y'all draw pictures with those.
Yeah,
filling in the bubbles.
Yeah, making cool little.
You can't do that, sir.
Grids. Yeah.
And, I remember back when we were in school, they would give you these tests to try and tell you what you were going to be whenever you would, get older. What career you should be looking into.
Cop, military, soldier, cop.
So it's kind of like that programming of a caste system, as we were speaking. How they want to establish certain classes in certain places of work.
Yeah, they mold you into a good little worker bee.
Yeah. So with the Sanders quote, he basically was asked in this interview, rebuttaling to the soda thing with Bloomberg. You guys remember when he made 2-liter colas illegal in New York, or I think it was even a liter, right? Or I don't recall the
44-ounce cups or something like that. I remember
the big gulp. The big gulp is gone.
It's gone, man. Chris
can't even share it no more.
Chris Crispy didn't like that.
Yeah, I know he did.
You're all welcome to Jersey.
Yeah. So he had to stop visiting.
Yeah. And he brought up obesity even when he was asked about the soda tax. He said that he was aware of the obesity problem in this country. So there you go. I mean, again, insinuating where, fatty foods and sugary foods should essentially be banned or taxed or heavily regulated, because once you got free healthcare going on and the government has to take care of it and actually cough out the expense of having to pay the doctors and the medical procedures. Yeah. I mean, controlling your diet is really not that far of a stretch.
That's just the next evolutionary step.
How many people getting coming down with diabetes or various other kind of obesity problems with obesity, hip problems that they're going to be scapegoat. Okay, well you're going to pay more in your taxes. That's the mindset. Yeah,
and passing on, and instead of actually even making it, how would we say, instead of passing on the cost to the person being actually causing the problem, they're either pass on the cost to everybody or just ban the food altogether, or raise taxes on those foods. Thus, it affects everybody. I can't go buy a soda without being affected by the soda tax. And this is the ill gains of the public sector, ladies and gentlemen. It just can't manage things correctly. If we were to privatize everything and allow insurance to do what it does, that's where you have a direct relationship between your health condition and your pre-existing, problems, pre-existing conditions, with, the cost of your health insurance. Therefore, if you don't smoke, you get a deduction. If you exercise, you get a deduction. If you're a vegetarian, you get a deduction. If you do all these things, you get deductions on your bill, on your statement, because you're helping out the insurance company. They're helping out you. It's a mutual win-win gain. The incentive is to keep disease from even coming to. But now with rampant health epidemics, incentive is let it get worse until the government can monopolize everything.
It's perfect, man. It's perfect. It goes along with the safe space people, Can't wait till they get the Google cars, I won't ever have to worry about I might accidentally make a mistake and wreck into something, It's taking away responsibility, It's the government's going to be responsible for your well-being.
Yeah.
You're going to become a dependent, and dependents don't have the right to choose. So you're going to be a dependent slave. Sounds like a good idea. Sounds like fun.
Yeah. It's disgusting. It's disgusting, and it's horrible. The situation we're stuck in. And striving for freedom from hunger and freedom from sickness has actually taken away our liberty to treat ourselves as we so choose. Because we're having this, we have the AMA, we have the FDA. We can't choose what medication we think is best for ourselves. We can't treat ourselves. We can't get a third party that we decide to treat us.
Yeah, didn't they ban vitamin B17?
Yep. I know it's banned in like Germany or somewhere too. Yeah, it's a vitamin that kills cancer. Yeah. But you can take these statin drugs, that the pink companies make, when they get their money from all the cancer, awareness. They can produce more of these drugs that cause cancer and all kinds of brain issues. And
are you suggesting the regulators might be in cahoots with big business?
Oh yeah,
That's capitalism, Rick.
Sure,
That's
it is.
evil. They're making money, so it's capitalism.
Yeah.
Government employees don't get paid. They're not capitalists. No, they just do it freely.
they do.
Out of the love of their hearts.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, man, where these people come from these days.
And their treatments don't even really work. I mean, all they did was radiate my grandfather and give him white blood cells back in a blood transfusion over and over again until he dropped.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that, bro. And that's pretty much the universal case when anybody starts going through that chemo treatment. I've had a couple family members myself where I highly encourage them not to. I send them information, and people are afraid. People are afraid of questioning things for themselves. I mean, they've never done it their whole life. Mm-hmm. So to expect someone to start all of a sudden
and it's
thinking
just hard
for themselves.
For them to conceive that, the web that has been weaved around them, of misconceptions and deception.
Yeah. People don't want to think that their doctor is bad.
Well, the doctors
are
just taught from a script to only understand this much and not understand these other aspects of like dietary supplements and like how veterinarians, they actually look into, okay, well, what's the animal eating? Yeah. What's it lacking? That's what you address first.
Yeah, the cause. What's causing it? Or what's the, exactly. What's the root of the problem?
Where's this animal's habitat at? Where's it, graze at? Where does it hang out at? Maybe it's being around some kind of plant that's bad for it.
We've got a histamine blocker or a serotonin reuptake inhibitor. We've got inhibitors and blockers, so you don't feel the issue until it's too late and you can't even walk anymore. You're falling apart.
Yep.
Seems like all they want to do is just mask things up.
Mm-hmm. Reminds
me of University of Berkeley and the minimum wage. We're going to be covering that after the segment, so definitely stay tuned. You're on Truth Exposed.
Get out a hat and sunglasses. In San Diego, law enforcement agents are using video surveillance cameras and facial recognition to pick faces out of crowds. I'm Dr. Catherine Albrecht, back with details in a moment.
Privacy is under attack. When you give up data about yourself, you'll never get it back again. And once your privacy is gone, you'll find your freedoms will start to vanish too. So protect your rights, say no to surveillance, and keep your information to yourself. Privacy, it's worth hanging on to. This message is brought to you by StartPage.com, the private search engine alternative to Google, Yahoo, and Bing. Start over with StartPage.
Privacy-invading technologies are coming online faster than you can scream Big Brother, and one California company called Face First tops my spooky list. Face First has developed scanners that can sweep a crowd from 100 feet away to record every face and feed those images into a database. People are identified in under a second. Already deployed in Panama, Face First is now being tested on San Diego streets. Imagine the feds, drones, marketers, and stalkers all scanning our faces and identifying us as we walk down the street. Yikes, I'm buying a floppy hat and some sunglasses. I'm Dr. Catherine Albrecht for StartPage.com, the world's most private search engine.
Looking for some truth? You found it. LogosRadioNetwork.com.
We're back here this lovely Wednesday, April 27th. And just getting into some of the Band-Aids, some of the cover-ups that government is always seeking to place on the ills of society without ever addressing the actual issue at hand. And a great example of this is with the minimum wage. That was recently, last year passed in California for governmental employees, I believe. So it turns out, you got a public university. They're technically government employees, right?
Yeah.
So University of California at Berkeley is planning to fire 500 workers a week after the state voted to raise the minimum wage.
500 workers a week? Wow.
I don't know how long that's going to go for,
but they got paid $15 an hour for a little bit, maybe.
A paycheck or two, right?
Hey, it was worth it.
So pretty much they figured, if I'm going to have to pay more, I'm going to go find another skilled worker that can either do it better or do more tasks for the money.
So no one can even enter the workforce until their labor is worth $15 an hour. So that's why you see all these little machines at the McDonald's and stuff.
Pretty much, it should just come down to whatever you and the other person agree to work for your wages. I mean, you don't have to go anywhere and work for the wage they give you.
Someone else will pay you more if it's worth more.
If you're worth more.
Yeah. If your skills are...
Yeah, that's cool, guys. You guys are cold-blooded.
Hey, it took me...
Division of labor's bad. People can't be good at stuff,
People are slaving for...
We need people with the lowest IQ, in the Department of Education.
And the police force.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll make things fair.
Yeah, it makes things fair. Give dumb people jobs. Gerbs.
So this is a Newsmax article here. And basically, who would have figured a government learning institution being $109 million in deficit just for 1 year?
Wow.
150 million this year alone. So last year 109, this year 115 million or 50 million, 150 million. I'm sorry, I misspoke there. That's amazing. I mean, considering how much they're getting from student loans, how much does the university cost? I mean, how much does a 4-year degree cost it?
Well, if it's ran by the government, it costs a heck of a lot more.
That's just ridiculous. When
everything's falling apart.
Yeah. Yeah, so when Governor Jerry Brown on April 4th signed into law a 50% increase in the minimum pay rate to $15 an hour by 2022, saying morally and socially and politically, minimum wages, make every sense because it binds the community together. Binding the community together. What do you call it when you bind a bunch of rods together?
Oh, yeah, that's fascism.
Yeah,
straight up California Uber Alice.
So let's bind the community together and make sure that parents can take care of their kids in a much more satisfactory way. Well, if you're having kids and you can only afford to get paid less than $15 an hour, you probably shouldn't be having that many kids.
Yeah,
there should probably be a singular kid.
But that's where I get my government check from and my baby daddy checks from.
Yep, exactly. And you see, as we have now, idiocracy.
Yeah, and it's really savage. I mean, a lot of people on the progressivist, socialist, democratic side of things, they really see our rhetoric as cold-hearted or our opinions as cold-hearted. How could we
allow people to fail?
Allow people to fail. How could we allow parents to incompetent parents?
You learn from your mistakes, and you'll change based on those mistakes.
Yeah,
you don't say.
You
will adapt.
If you don't ever have to learn the lesson, then you don't ever have to change what you're doing. So they're suspending the laws of reality.
It may be that people, people are less hard-headed than people working for government, and this is why they got this illusion here. They're thinking, well, hey, if everyone's just as hard-headed as we are, we can't just get them. They can't learn from their experiences. Who does that?
Just when reality kicks in, I don't know. Hopefully they snap out of it, but sometimes people don't.
When the rug gets pulled, they will learn that there's a floor underneath, and it can be slippery.
That's so rude and cruel.
It's not nice.
This is sequestering all those jobs.
I'm not saying we're going to pull the rug. I'm saying they might, take off running and slip out from under them.
Yeah, right. So, it's cutting a total of, a total of 500 jobs were getting cut over the next 2 years. So, and of course, this is a flagship of the progressivist learning institutions, indoctrination centers. And I'm sure this campus was rife with both, students and teachers basically marching for minimum, $15 minimum wage, and next week you're getting fired, right?
I guarantee it.
And now that tuition is going to be a heck of a lot more to help accommodate, that $15 an hour salary they got to pay to their minimum wage workers. Feel that burn.
It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I'm not 100% on whether this was only for government employees, state employees, or just across the board. It may have been just very well across the board, which may explain why we have tech industry fleeing California. Like,
yeah, they're all coming to Texas.
And that's the way it goes. And we wonder why people invest their money in, secret corporate funds in Panama or whatnot, and tax havens.
Accounts, yeah, tax havens.
Texas aren't there.
It's your duty, and it's un-American to be hiding money.
It's forced donations.
Yeah. Yeah, so there you go. There you go on that one. So of course, the Band-Aid on this, the obvious Band-Aid, is the minimum wage law. Just raising the minimum wage and not addressing
the value of the money.
The value of the money. What is causing prices to rise to a point where people that are working 40 hours a week can't afford to live off of their wages?
Why is it that it takes two people in a household to make a living and maintain a house, whereas back in the day it only took one?
With multiple kids. I think they had more kids back in the 50s, right?
Oh, yes.
I mean, per household, it was like an average 3 or 4 kids.
Pay no attention to the Federal Reserve Bank.
Yeah, I mean, I had 3 uncles and an aunt and then a mother in that family. Yeah. My father was a milkman.
No, let's just mask the problem, guys. Just like we do with the medical stuff, we're just going to mask the problem until,
Take these pills.
It doesn't matter. Exactly. Till you die. It doesn't matter. They can suspend the laws of reality. They could try to for so long, but eventually it's going to kick in and it's going to be like the dominoes are going to fall.
Well, and this is the sad fact of it all is we genuinely care, ladies and gentlemen. We genuinely care, and we don't want people being,
we're dependent on us and forcing us to work for them when they don't know how to wipe their own butts.
That we're concerned about what generation is going to be the one whenever the dominoes fall, and how are they going to handle it based on the culture depravity that they've been through. The knowledge that's been given to them through schools is not very much. They're getting thrown off track. And
the movie Mad Max is not something I want to live through.
Exactly.
Period.
Yeah. I mean, we generally don't want people being swindled out of their money, and unfortunately, this is what government does. Once you get affected with it, once you get infected with the disease, with the virus, it's going to kill you. It's going to destroy you from the inside out. And we don't want to see that. I mean, when it comes to low economic bracket parents having a lot of children, those children don't have much of a future. I mean, quite honestly, sure, you have your handfuls that end up going up the ranks and actually
making it out, right?
Making it out of the hood. But unfortunately, a lot of those kids are just going to join the military just to get a $30,000 salary.
And who does that benefit? That benefits the state.
Oh yeah, no doubt, right?
So they're only doing what benefits them and not humanity.
And then they're disillusioned enough to actually think that they're then fighting for our freedom when they're the ones that are the biggest slaves in the room. Can't fight for freedom when you're a slave, right?
No,
that one doesn't make sense.
Exactly. How are you going to expect someone who gives up all their rights to make decisions for themselves to somehow protect yours?
Yeah, that doesn't equate.
It doesn't.
No, so we don't want people being swindled and bamboozled into working for the state, dying for the state, killing for the state, and giving up their hard-earned wealth and property and prosperity to a bunch of lazy bureaucrats. That's not what we were created for, ladies and gentlemen. We were created for much more and much grander things. We're coming on a break. We're going to keep breaking down stuff, so don't break your back, Stephen.
Easy.
you for tuning in. This is Truth Exposed here on the Logos Radio Network. It is April 27, 2016, and I do believe the phone lines are open. 512-646-1984 if you feel like chiming in. I am one of your hosts, Cuddy Rowe.
Marshall Soul.
Rick Rody.
And we've just been breaking down some of the articles, some of the headlines of, this past week. It's been a interesting socialist bombardment.
Not quite at utopia yet.
No,
just a few new laws.
A few more laws, and we will achieve utopia. Or close to it, and then we'll just need a few more laws.
Yeah.
And then we'll be closer, and then we'll just need a few more. But we'll be almost there if we just get a...
And they will need the army with the tasers and the guns to enforce the laws on everybody else.
And then the drones to enforce the laws on them. And then a giant computer to enforce the law on the drones.
Talk about Skynet.
Peter Joseph had a good idea with that one, right?
Yeah.
The Zeitgeist guy, yeah. A computer would be way more efficient at running, the killing machine known as government.
And it'll be able to track and trace everything, too, just like Occupy likes.
Yeah. Perfect solution.
Yes. I agree.
I think we all seen that movie.
With Terminator?
They made many sequels, even a TV show.
Yeah. Oh. Skynet, baby.
Oh, yeah.
The T-1000. Anyway.
Yeah, you can't get a machine to disobey orders.
No, it'll do whatever you program it to.
Yeah.
Kill arguments.
Quiet, Bender.
Yeah, exactly.
So this ruling here, the Supreme Court deciding to go ahead and rule on transgender bathrooms in schools.
Speaking of Transformers.
Really? I never saw anything like that when I was in school. I mean, there was a couple of people that were gay, but I never saw any transgenders.
And though, I don't think I think the gays are fine using I don't even see the straight people complaining that the gay people are using, you know what I mean? Oh, the gay guy used the restroom. Like, no one's like...
Well, we got stalls for a reason, right?
Yeah, no one's losing their mind over that. Hasn't. I don't know.
So, yeah, this last, when was this? This last, I guess, Tuesday of last week. So we're a little late on this one, but apparently a federal appeals court ruled last week, last Tuesday, that public schools must allow transgender students, don't know at what age you can decide that for yourself, but anyway, to use the bathrooms that match their gender identity. The first such decision of its kind. The ruling is a victory for a Virginia high school student, Gavin Grime, I don't know how you pronounce that, who was born female but identifies as male, has undergone hormone therapy, and has legally changed his name or her name.
That gets called confusing.
School officials supportive and allowed him to use the boys' restroom, but the school board later barred the school from making that accommodation. On Tuesday, by a vote of 2-1, the panel on the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals in Richmond reversed a lower court decision that had been in favor of the school board. And this is from the ACLU's James Essex. A spokesperson from the ACLU says that Tuesday's ruling says quite clearly that forcing transgender students to use the wrong restroom or the restroom of the gender they were born in, one that does not accord with their gender identity, is sex discrimination. That's pretty harsh. Harsh words there. Sex discrimination. Wow.
Defining things now as discrimination.
Yeah, what do you define sex as? Are you defining as the gender?
Hey, well, they're discriminating against my AR-15 and, the size of the magazine and, if it's fully automatic, it's semi-automatic. Like, what does it matter? It identifies as a revolver.
It's not the size of the magazine that counts, Cuddy. It's the bullet that's inside.
It identifies as a .22 caliber revolver.
Yeah, right.
Stop discriminating against my property.
Hey, don't we identify as like tax-free organizations or ourselves?
I identify as a temple, and I identify myself as tax exempt.
My body is a temple and is now tax exempt.
Yeah. I mean, we can identify as anything we want.
Don't be discriminating.
I identify as the president of the United States.
An endangered species animal, so you can't kill me. Right?
Dodo bird.
Yeah.
I knew it. You look like a dodo bird.
I don't even know what those look like.
Before your time, Rick.
Yeah.
Before your time.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So the decision is binding on the 5 states of the Fourth Circuit, that is Maryland, North and South Carolina, Virginia, and West Virginia. So with those kind of rulings there, I mean, we might see a Supreme Court ruling here down the pipes, the sewer pipes.
And we've already discussed how we feel about people and what they do with their property and themselves. They own themselves. They can body modify or get tattoos, piercings, do whatever, kill themselves if they want. I mean, it's their body. They own themselves. So, I mean, we don't have any issue with people and whatever they identify as, It's just, I don't know. It's getting too crazy,
Yeah, and of course it's all under federal the Department of Education and federal funds. You know, obviously if you receive federal funds and you're part of the Department of Education under Title IX of different these codes, you can't engage in sexual discrimination.
Didn't they just pass a law too in Texas saying that like the opposite? I forget. They did something.
Let's just put a bathroom in there and put a question mark there, and if you're not sure, go on that one.
Or there should just be a whatever you call it. I mean,
whatchamacallit room.
Yeah, there you go. No, but I mean, we've been to small little establishments where they have a unisex, just one bathroom for everybody. I mean,
yeah. If you don't like it, you might be sitting there waiting for a while.
But you know, I mean, it's up to the owner of the establishment.
But that's in the case of private property.
Yeah, exactly.
This case, we're talking about, this is public property. This is something that we're all being forced to pay into.
Yeah.
Your property taxes. So in a sense, you know, we therefore should have more of a say in the matter than the government does.
So see what happens when everyone has control over something and then they all have a different opinion.
Exactly. That's where the problem there is.
How do you come to a consensus on that one, right?
I don't know.
We all agree to disagree and nothing changes.
Yeah, it's a grim situation. I mean, and I wouldn't doubt that. You have to wonder who's getting the bid to rebuild or to build these new bathrooms in all these public schools.
Yeah, we have someone who's been waiting here, who's been paid as often, just waiting to get the job.
It's like the Michael Chertoff and the body scanners.
Exactly.
Yeah,
body snatchers.
the TSA body scanners at the airports they rolled out. You know.
Oh,
yeah.
Yep. Problem reactions, ball in solution. You know how to get.
Somebody's probably gonna pop in with some new bathroom idea and make a killing on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll have to accommodate for the no gender, right? And then you got the boy, girl, and then you have to have the no gender. So that's another.
If they don't have a gender, I don't think they need to go to the bathroom.
Use the bush.
Must be aliens or something.
Hold it in.
Martians. Well, yeah, and unfortunately, this kid, Grim, apparently was holding it in pretty long because he didn't want to, or she didn't want to go use the restroom.
Why can't they just let him use a staff restroom or something? I mean, they have those lounge restrooms there in the teacher's lounge. I mean, they could accommodate the kid.
So of course, yeah, right. So of course, NBC brings up the fact that the kid got a urinary tract infection from holding in the bathroom because she felt so uncomfortable using the bathroom, the restroom, that poor kiddo got a urinary tract infection.
Felt uncomfortable using a toilet stall in a female bathroom. How is that uncomfortable?
It's a stall, right?
It's just a stall. It's not like you're going to the men's restroom where we have urinals and stalls.
You have urinals, right? Isn't that more uncomfortable?
My feels. I don't know. My feels.
I don't know. Why would you just want to go there, stand next to your urinal, and just peek around?
Feels.
You got the peripherals there.
Feels, bro.
Yeah, it's just opening a can of worms.
A can of feels.
Yeah. They're shooting out like them snakes you put in there. Spring loaded.
You can't put them back in there.
Can't. So the school board forced the high school to stop accommodating him after, of course, some parents were concerned and they were pretty pissed off about it, and spoke out at 2 community meetings. Hopefully no parents got tased at these
Don't tase me, bro.
Town hall meetings.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of curious. I mean, you just kind of got to know to also determine this situation is like the child's sexuality in the sense of do they like boys or do they like girls? Because that should also have to depend on what you're doing and what bathroom and whatnot.
That's that's a valid point, right? What do you identify as, but what's your sexual orientation?
Yeah, because what if people go so many different ways? Well, if you're going to go there, we might as well just figure out the rest. Figure out what you're really up to.
So I'll just carry around a catheter. I mean,
they have that cup thing.
Yeah, girls can pee standing up too now. Okay, we can all use the.
They can win those contests.
We can all use the urinal now. Hey, let's just make it a urinal. Everyone stand up.
Yeah.
It'd be like China where there's a hole in the floor and you just hover.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're not complaining about it.
In Turkey, yeah, you do it in a hole in the floor.
Logos Radio Network presents Truth Exposed Radio, a transmission promoting resistance to tyranny. Listen in as we explore counter-economics, spontaneous order, and the human strive for liberty with your host, Rick Rody, Marshall Soul, and Cuddy Rowe. And now, Truth Exposed Radio.
Oh, we're back live. Truth Exposed here on the Logos Radio Network.
Digging that music. Digging that new liner.
Yeah. Got a little spice it up right now, right?
Yeah, I got Skynet doing the intro.
Sounds
sexy.
Yep.
You should have put a British accent on it.
Oh, I can. I still can.
No, I'm kidding.
They're pretty robotic, aren't they?
Yeah, they got a British girl.
So, we're just wrapping up this whole ruling in the lower circuit court here. I forget what level it was. Fourth Circuit Court, and I mean, again, we're not in any way trying to tell people that they can't identify. I mean, you want to identify as a multi-dimensional panda, space panda. I mean, whatever. That's that's your protocol. But
rainbow bright in the flesh.
Yeah. I mean, you can identify whatever. I mean, but people, at the end of the day, society's going to be the judge, right? I mean, I can identify as the most awesome guitar player in the world, but once people hear my guitar playing, they're like, well, dude, that seems a little presumptuous.
It's like that one singer, like Yoko Ono or whatever her name is. It's like, people are like,
that was art.
That was
art.
Exactly, man. Hey.
And you know what's funny? It's like might doesn't make right. The amount of people that believe in a lie doesn't make it true. And force, state laws don't dictate reality. So
or morality.
So yeah, I mean, it's just this is definitely getting Orwellian here. 2 + 2 does not equal 4, ladies and gentlemen. So, but to wrap this up here,
yes, it does, Rick.
These issues were going on.
If you can explain it, with your feels, it's good enough.
Yeah.
But so these aren't the first states to now pass this. I mean, because this Fourth Circuit covers, like we were saying, Maryland, North and South Carolina, Virginia, and West Virginia. And if you guys remember, there's been a whole other litany of states that have passed the same measures, including, of course, home state of Berkeley itself, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Massachusetts, New York, and Washington. And some states, though, some governors are taking a contrary stance. North Carolina, where you guys remember what was his name? Bruce Springsteen decided to not play a concert there because North Carolina decided to pass a law signed by the governor last month requiring transgender people to use the bathroom that corresponds to the sex that they were born with. Similar measures.
Hey, wasn't he up in arms about the cake bakers that wouldn't bake a cake for a gay couple too? And yet now they want to force. Now he's saying I ain't going there because y'all do this. You ain't accommodating these people, so I'm not coming there.
Yeah, he should be forced to. He already sold tickets. He already scheduled the event. He should be forced to play it.
Yeah, he should. America. Yeah, that guy's so America. He's so America.
And a similar measure was vetoed over in South Dakota. But yeah, I mean, everyone's giving North Carolina flack. I think even Michael Moore decided not to screen one of his his upcoming recent films in North Dakota. And yeah, Marshall, you bring up a really interesting point. It's funny how they're picking and choosing their battles. No principle whatsoever.
No, we don't do that. We use the feels.
Yeah, no principles whatsoever here. But you get to refuse service when you want to, and you get to force service when other people want to refuse it, just based on whatever arbitrary feels you got going on.
It's like a weather vane, and the wind blows, and it's just
either you want the right to be able to refuse service on principle, or you want everybody forced to accommodate everybody. Which one is it?
Yeah,
you can't have both.
It's the path of the
It's
strongest.
Either you have the
feels.
right to refuse service, or you don't. One or the other.
Yeah, no.
Not picking and choosing.
No, we got the feels, man. We got the feels.
Yeah, I wonder if more people would choose to identify as whatever sex or gender if they were forced to always be associated with that gender for the rest of their life. You couldn't jump back and forth. You can't go back and forth depending on what the situation may be most beneficial for you.
And then also the other question that comes to mind is, what's their sexuality in a sense? What are they? Are they into boys or are they into girls? Because that should really have a standing on where bathroom you go into as well.
Well, yes and no though, because say you got a straight up, a gay or lesbian, right? Should a lesbian be forced to use the male restroom, the boys' restroom, just because she identifies as a lesbian, or she's a lesbian, or should a gay guy be forced to use the girls' restroom because he identifies as a gay guy or is a gay guy?
Hey, I identify as trans financial. I was born in a rich body, but I'm broke. So people need to accommodate me with money because I'm trans financial.
You can't function. Your feelings are getting hurt if you don't have a certain level of income.
I need big stacks.
At least triple digits a year.
Yes, at least.
And no, I'm not saying that they should be, but I'm just surprised that that's not a question that's coming up in it.
Yeah. No, I get you, but you can definitely see how the progressivists would be inflamed by even such a notion of determining who should use which bathroom depending on your sexual, that's inflammatory, but telling people to use the bathroom of the gender they're born with, that's inflammatory as well. So yeah, it seems like you can never be right with these people.
Nobody goes to the bathroom at all.
There you go. We all get UTIs, and we can all give the medical union a lot of money there. We all get the.
That's how we progress, is by making everybody lower.
Yeah, and if you sterilize everybody, and they don't really matter, right?
No.
Yeah.
Can't have kids anyway, so.
Yeah, see?
Yeah. Turn everyone into eunuchs and sterilize women. That'll solve the problem.
That will.
You've been reading up on eugenics too much, Rick.
Let's all put it up for a vote.
Yeah. 3 people voted.
3 people voted.
It passed.
Unanimously.
One person voted against, and 300 million didn't vote at all.
Yeah.
It passed.
Oh.
So. Yeah.
I want to recount.
Yeah, right.
I can't count that high, Marshall. It'll take all day.
So, we should. And inevitably, they're setting the precedent here, ladies and gentlemen. When they start off with their own property, they start off with government and public property, and eventually this is going to get shoved down the throats of private institutions. They're going to have, just like they have accommodation laws for businesses that are private.
They're forced to accommodate for handicapped spaces and put them.
You
up
can't discriminate based on race or whatever, or age and
right. So
gender.
As a guy, I want to get a part-time job as a waitress at Hooters.
They must accommodate you.
They must accommodate me.
I think I'm gonna stop going to Hooters.
Yeah. See, the key on that one would be getting hired and somehow convincing them that you're a woman. Get hired.
I got pretty eyes.
And then they can't fire you. They can't fire you once you show up in your plumber's outfit. You know
what bird they're gonna name it after if guys start working there. Woodpeckers. Oh man, we out of there. Oh man, this is just getting too crazy. I don't even know anymore.
You can't have a collective regulating everything upon you because it's gotten to the point where it's getting ridiculous.
You got to accommodate the Sasquatch.
It's not long before people.
I know there's one out there. They left the Bigfoot prints.
Yeah.
So the door frames,
the Chewbacca's,
10 foot tall.
Yeah, right. Tear it down, rebuild it. The International Code Compliance decided.
You have to accommodate the Bigfoot, so make the 10 foot tall doorways.
Yeah. In reality, they're just getting the world ready for the Nephilim to survive.
Oh.
No, but in all seriousness, ladies and gentlemen, again, as libertarians, it's hard to take a stance on public property. Essentially, we all have a claim to it. So really, this should be, I guess, the best solution to public property would be a referendum where everyone voted on directly on it.
If you want it, you build it. It's public. It's public property. You should be able to do what you want with it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough call.
As long as you don't harm anybody in the process of using it, it's public property in a sense.
They just have a door with a sign on it, and you could just flip it from guys to girls or whichever one you want whenever you want.
Yeah, you feel like
you feel better.
Well,
a guy's in here, a girl's in here.
But what if they identify as a guy and it's a girl that's in there? That's where it gets confusing.
Well, but then before you go in, before you go in,
you spank the guy thinking he's a dude, and then get you for sexual harassment on a woman, which is a lot worse. You know what I'm saying? So
oh man!
And really, you were just trying to hit on the guy.
That's entrapment.
Yeah, come on.
I'm confused now.
Yeah, I know. It's Twilight Zone level.
Yeah. So we're definitely gonna we're prognosticating over here.
You thought they were confused?
We're prophesying.
You thought they were confused? I'm confused.
Yeah, right. We're prophesying that they're gonna definitely want to extend this to private property here down the line, without a doubt.
You must have a transgender bathroom in your apartment, in your homes. You gotta be able to accommodate everybody now.
Well, you never know. If you don't completely own it, maybe if you have a loan on it, ooh, watch out. It might be just like the insurance, you got to have it.
Yeah. It's not yours yet. You don't have the title yet.
Yep, exactly.
Yep. Well, we got some John Locke lined up. But before we get into the philosophy of property and wrap that up, I definitely encourage you guys to check out logosradionetwork.com and check out all the great lineup of shows and schedules and hosts and
archives.
We got our pretty little faces on there, too, if you scroll down.
The gun giveaway is still going down.
Ooh.
Yeah, it is. $25 gets you into the drawing. And, we've had to push this back continuously because we can't quit asking for help because then everything would have to shut down. And we don't really want to have to shut down truth being blasted on this transmission. So,
yep. We're giving away stuff now. Come on.
So definitely check out logosradionetwork.com. Check out the gun giveaway. and our sponsors on the right-hand side there. Whatever you need, you can get it. So,
this is the Logos Radio Network.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, Truth Exposed Radio, April 27th, 2016. And as we were saying before we went to the break, go to the website, check out the sponsors, the non-GMOsolutions.com. We've got a Amazon link that you should clear your cookies and click on if you're going to do any of your Amazon shopping, as well as the Global Healing Center. I wish I would have hit that up 2 weeks ago when I came down with whatever that was that came around here.
The chemtrail flu.
That's what I think it was.
Yeah, it's been getting everybody.
Yep, and then of course get in on that gold savings club, Carrot Bar Currency. You can refer others to get paid, that real gold bullion currency, and as well as a link to the Michael Mayer's proven method, and then of course the jurisdictionary, no lawyer, no problem, howtowinacourt.com.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Bam. And if you do get Eddie Craig's traffic seminar series, you get 10 entries into the drawing.
10 entries. That right there in itself, is worth the cash.
Yeah, you could end up winning twice.
Yeah,
I mean, Eddie Craig's his package deal in itself.
That's what I'm saying. That's a win-win right
you
there.
get 10 entries into this gun giveaway.
Yeah, and if you get a gun and you got this, man, you're
coming out ahead already.
Yeah, definitely.
So definitely check us out there, ladies and gentlemen, and I do appreciate all the support that you guys can give because it does keep the transmission blasting, and it is a community effort. It takes a community to have a resistance and can't stand alone.
It takes a community to have a community.
It really does. It really does. Stand alone, you're the lone nail in the room, and you're going to get hammered down. But
they can't get us all.
Can't hammer us all. So definitely appreciate you guys helping out. So last week we left off towards the end of Locke's breakdown on the acquisition of raw land and raw property, and he there's a thing that keeps reoccurring in his writing here, where he definitely encourages the notion of somehow, I guess, essentially, if anything goes to waste under your ownership, you did a damages towards other people. Those are things that could have been used by other people, and we can definitely see where he's coming from, especially in the time period that this was written in, and the fact that he was also, as far as I know, a Christian as well. So as we read those provisions in the Old Testament where you're supposed to leave parts of your crops behind for people that may be passing by, or the poor, or whatnot, the hungry, the people in need, right? People that may be going through tough times. But as we keep pointing out every time this example comes up, here in this last example, he brought up plums, and if you pick more plums that you can personally use or sell, and some of them rot in a week, that somehow you're doing injury to people. And then he brought up the example of, well, if you trade these plums for nuts that don't rot within a week, and you consume the nuts, then you did injury to nobody. So we just basically brought up the point that this is just something that's naturally going to happen. People don't want their assets to be rotting away, the wealth that they put so much effort and energy into acquiring, just spoiling, just sitting on wealth that's spoiling. You're going to want to trade that or give it away or do something with it. You can start making plum pie or something.
I just hate it when stuff spoils in the refrigerator and I got to throw it away, or it becomes a science project in my refrigerator,
But if we didn't have government, I couldn't get a tax write-off.
Tax write-off?
I will give it away to charity.
Oh, there you go.
Oh.
Spoiled goods, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, that's a good idea.
Food not bombs, man.
Oh, but wait. If there was no government, then it wouldn't have tax. Wait a second. Never mind.
You were thinking too much over there.
I wasn't thinking no.
So yeah, I mean, this notion that somehow people would just, accumulate more than they can use and let it go to waste is pretty fallacious. It just, we don't see it happening at all.
They act like nice people aren't going to help out less fortunate.
Well, and you don't even have to be nice. You could be the greediest person in the world. You acquiring, 12 tons of plums and having most of it rot on you. That's just the malinvestment of your own time and energy. I mean, you could be the greediest person in the world, and you're still not going to do that.
Yeah, maybe the guy who sold you the plums, like, you know what, you let it rot. I'm not going to give it to you, or he didn't really care because he's got the money just the same.
It just doesn't seem, if you're a real businessman, you're going to
Why would you want to waste money?
Yeah, exactly.
Or waste investment or waste time?
Exactly.
Now, if the government was picking plums,
oh yeah, then
you could just go back and
they can ration them a few out and let the rest spoil.
Yeah,
you can go back and read.
There's a shortage of them.
Yeah,
there's a shortage of them while they're sitting on like 2 tons and they're all.
Go read Moore's Racket.
Plums.
They were talking about how they would buy up mosquito nets and never even sent them out to the troops fighting in Europe, and how they would buy up saddles and they didn't even have a cavalry anymore. But yet they made these deals with various businesses to
Well, they scratched their back, so they had to scratch theirs. So.
What was that quote from that monetarist, centralist, quasi-Keynesian, good old Milton Friedman? If you let the government control the Sahara Desert in a couple of years, you'd have a shortage of sand.
Definitely.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, unless the government or somebody that has no incentive, or not even the incentive, somebody that had no investment in actually acquiring these plums, unless you have an institution of that sort or a person of that caliber, you're just simply not going to have people sitting on spoiling plums. I mean, it's just not going to happen. So,
well, plus when a plum's going to spoil, the seed's going to get in the ground at some point or get dispersed across the ground and maybe grow into a tree.
Oh well, I think some people can live without plums. I don't think plums are a necessity. Anyway.
Yeah, no, and yeah, I mean, you bring up another good point, Marshall. Is it seems like even waste and trash, at some point when things become really scarce, those things will then become goods to be bartered or to be exchanged or to be sold and bought and sold. So
it's goods to be used by nature. I mean, the flies will eat it, the bugs will eat it, the squirrels will pick to grab the nut.
Sell it as fertilizer. Sell it as definitely.
Or it just becomes it.
Yeah, no doubt. At which point it's then a good.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the last section here that we were getting on last week, and that's where we left off there. And we hate to be a stickler with Mr. John Locke. I mean, this guy was way beyond us as far as mental paralysis, but nonetheless, we do have a couple hundred years on him of economic growth, economic development, the theory of economics, the philosophy of economics. Yeah.
Living and learning.
So,
philosophizing. Yeah.
So we looking in hindsight, you always have 20/20 when you're looking in hindsight. So.
Yep. The best part of mistakes is when you look back at them.
And change your course.
Hey, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
It seems we keep looking at the mistakes of government, and then people just
they ain't looking back.
They think if we just continue on the course, even ever so more fast and ever so more determined, that somehow things will turn out differently. Which, according to Einstein, I think that was a theory of his definition of insanity, wasn't it?
We just make the mistake bigger.
Yeah, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So. And he did have an issue here with money as well, as we noted that John Locke did. And to no surprise, really, I mean, by this time, centralized currencies were a pretty common thing, especially in England, right? So it's easy to see how, a politically connected elite would have a connection to vast amounts of wealth that they didn't necessarily earn, thus giving them a leverage, an unequal, an unacquired privilege in the marketplace. They're just getting money that the government's printing out of nothing.
There's lords with land and goods on such lands that were granted to him by the king.
Exactly. So we can see why Locke would have an issue with money, as far as bringing up the point that if it wasn't for the use of money, people would use goods to their most efficient use, right? Obviously, but with the Federal Reserve or with any kind of centralized banking institution, the meddling down, the watering down of actual precious metals, people become rich and wealthy at the expense of other people through political means, and that's just not fair. So here on section 48, he goes on to say that as different degrees of industry were apt to give men possessions in different proportions, so this invention of money gave them the opportunity to continue and enlarge them. For supposing an island separate from all possible commerce with the rest of the world, wherein there were but 100 families, but there were sheep, horses, and cows with other useful animals, wholesome fruits, and land enough for corn and for hundreds of thousand times as many, but nothing in the island, either because of its commonness or perishableness. We are coming on a break, so we're going to keep breaking this down. Definitely stay tuned.
Reality TV, sugar, obesity, jet lag. The list of things that makes us dumber just keeps on growing. But now researchers say we can add stress to the list. I'm Dr. Catherine Albrecht, back with details in a moment.
Privacy is under attack. When you give up data about yourself, you'll never get it back again. And once your privacy is gone, you'll find your freedoms will start to vanish too. So protect your rights, say no to surveillance, and keep your information to yourself. Privacy, it's worth hanging on to. This message is brought to you by StartPage.com, the private search engine alternative to Google, Yahoo, and Bing. Start over with StartPage.
Are you always on the go and juggling multiple projects? If so, you might think that multitasking proves you're smart. But think again, all that stress might be eating your brain. A new study finds stress reduces the number of connections between neurons, which actually makes it harder for people to manage problems. Researchers at Yale University found that stressed out people have less gray matter in their prefrontal cortex. That's the part of the brain that helps us weigh conflicting ideas and regulate our emotions. So take a deep breath and chill out. It'll help keep your mind as sharp as a tack. I'm Dr. Catherine Albrecht for StartPage.com, the world's most private search engine.
Actually be kidding about chemtrails.
You're listening to the Logos Radio Network at logosradionetwork.com.
And we are back live. This is April 27, 2016. This is Truth Exposed. I'm one of your hosts, Cuddy Rowe.
Marshall Soul.
Rick Rhodey.
And we are live here every Wednesday, 6 to 8 p.m.
Central Standard Time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Feel free to call in. We got a couple sections of the radio show left, so definitely feel free to call in 512-646-1984. Bring up whatever we've been talking about, something new, whatever. It don't matter. We'll discuss it with you.
It's just interesting in perspective when after, kind of looking at where we're starting from and seeing where it's kind of going next. And you can definitely tell that from being able to own yourself and own your property and is where your rights come from is also where you can start to see where law starts to come from as well.
Yeah, because law is meant to protect rights.
Yeah, exactly.
Protect property.
Yeah. Once the law starts getting perverted, right, when it starts telling you what you can and can't. Well, it already supposed to say what you can't do.
That's
real
that's
law.
The only law that should be right now.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't kill, can't harm somebody.
Can't steal, can't vandalize.
Yeah.
Any action that's seen as harmful or something.
Well, you can't harm a body and you can't harm anybody's property.
Yeah, exactly.
Rightful
and you
property.
can't conduct fraud in your contracts.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what you call negative law. But it seems we've had positive law and not positive in the with the synonym of being good.
You must do this. You must do that, and
law that compels.
So to appropriate, or to accommodate certain people, whoever it may be, they want to select
to give gains to some at the expense of others. Yeah, you have to have healthcare, right? You have to buy healthcare. Well, there's no such thing as that kind of law. That defeats the purpose of law. Whose property are they defending at that point? Whose rights are they defending? They're other than the big pharma and the medical union.
And no individual on their own has the right to go and tell someone,
right?
They have to buy
something,
purchase, act.
I cannot be compelled to purchase products against my will.
And then somehow magically a certain number of people without those rights come together, and then all of a sudden they magically manifest those rights. I just
sprinkle democracy on it.
Sprinkle me, man.
A couple of votes.
It's man.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a very good point, Cut. It bringing down this, down to earth, these ideas, these principles of property. Really, this is where we get the beginning of justice. I mean, what is justice other than the restitution of wrongs done? Well, what are wrongs in the sense of what, in the sense of law and government? We're not talking theological wrongs here. Do you pray enough?
Or,
we're talking common sense.
What are you putting in your body? Or who are you sleeping with? Or,
right. I mean, that's between you and your creator. That's between you and your faith if you have one.
We're talking common sense law,
We're talking about the government law, governmental laws, and not government necessarily in the sense that we need government in order to protect these things, but we're talking about governments in the sense of social order, rather. In order to have social order, we can't have people killing other people.
Yeah.
Quite simple as that. In order to have social order, we can't have people stealing from other people. You work and slave your, a couple of years of your life to buy yourself a nice house, and all of a sudden you got a bunch of people living in it, not letting you, possess it. They're squatting in there and not letting you get back in your house and kick them out. Well, there's an injustice then.
Sounds like your children.
So, somehow order is now forcing people to, do what you want.
Yeah.
I mean, that's order. How else are things going to happen if we don't force people to do certain things?
See, and it's not about forcing people to do certain things. It's about simply defending people from certain things happening to them and theirs. That's
exactly.
So Locke here was just finishing up that if it wasn't for money, in this sentence, then this hypothetical island that had all, but 100 families on it, with all these sheep and horses and other animals and wholesome fruits and vegetables and different tools and utilities, what would be the purpose of them to have money? He's basically saying there'd be no place for it. Goes on to say that what reason could anyone have there to enlarge his possessions beyond the use of his family and a plentiful supply to its consumption, either in what their own industry produced, or they could barter for like perishable goods, useful commodities with others, right? Where there is not something both lasting and scarce and so valuable to be hoarded up, their men will not be apt to enlarge their possessions of land, were it never so rich, never so free for them to take. For I ask, what would man value 10,000 or 100,000 acres of excellent land, ready cultivated and well stocked too, with cattle in the middle of the inland parts of America, where we had no hope of commerce with other parts of the world to draw money to him by the sale of the product? So this is an interesting concept here. He seems like to be kind of dissing on the medium of exchange here, because it promotes the accumulation of more goods than you could possibly use, which then this would also be a fallacious argument, because again, if someone has multiple acres of corn and they're trading that corn in order to gain money, well, the people buying the corn have chosen to do so out of their own free will. Therefore, we have to assume that corn that this person is selling is of better quality or of cheaper price, more affordable price than what those people could get for themselves. So he's actually providing, this person or this family is providing a service for society around them, instead of hoarding wealth to themselves. So
yeah, because why would you grow an immense amount of product or store an immense amount of product unless there was a use for it if it was perishable? Even if it wasn't perishable, why would you have it unless someone else wanted it?
Well, if there's no medium of exchange, and you're going to just barter goods, I think you're going to have a shortage of goods to barter to everybody. It almost seems like you need the medium of exchange. Exactly.
There's a conundrum, right, of just a barter society. I mean, even with barter, some items are going to be used as mediums. Even in a barter society, you're going to have indirect barter spontaneously arising.
There's going to be a common thing which everybody will take, and that will become the means of exchange, because everybody will take this object.
So there's no difference.
And then that object's value will be, countered against whatever object is in the exchange.
Right. Right. And so what if someone has a huge field with, what do you say here? 100,000 acres of well-cultivated land with cattle in America. Okay. Well, so long as everyone else is allowed to have cattle if they so choose, and so long as everyone else is allowed to buy cattle from other people, then if this person has hundreds and thousands of acres of cattle, he's obviously, if he's still in business, he or she or this family is obviously providing a quality good if people are willing to go to them versus going to any competitor or doing it for themselves.
Well, then also look at his statement earlier in the book when he's talking about in order to actually own and possess land, you have to be working it. So how could a man own hundreds of thousands of acres?
Yeah, if he didn't work for it. I mean, if he worked for it.
If he worked that land and cultivated it, made it his own.
No doubt. What's the issue?
No doubt. And right, no doubt. And even if you had all the money in the world, if you pay people to do it, you're not going to be in business long if you don't cater to the needs of people around you. I mean, one person can't use hundreds of thousands of acres, with a bunch of stuff growing on it, a bunch of cattle, and
just hoard everything. And they're not going to be able to survive.
Yeah. So there's some slight issues here at hand. I mean, you can definitely see the concern. This seems to be a concern that everyone has when you start talking about free market economy or laissez-faire, unregulated capitalism, is that people automatically assume that somehow a handful of families are going to buy everything up, as if that's not happening with government-enforced central banking already.
Right. They're just helping regulate it to where these people can merge and take over certain aspects and make monopolies. Whereas,
it's a guarantee.
You as an informed consumer can choose whether or not to allow a business to come to fruition and how long it'll stay in business by, being informed about the business practices and choosing whether or not you want to purchase through them.
And even rich families, their kids get decadent, and then they a fool is soon to depart with his fortune. So I mean, government is the only way that it stays in power. Like the impossible, keeps on trucking.
Yeah, things get swept under the rug. Companies change names to avoid the reputation that they had acquired by doing bad business practices.
Oh yeah, that's another issue. But yeah, definitely.
Easy.
Truth Exposed, we're back.
Last stretch of the rat race over here.
This goes by so quick.
It does. It's not a rat race. It's actual pleasure being on the airways with you guys.
This
gals.
statism just sticks around.
I was trying to think back to the movie reference. I'm like, wait a minute, rat race. What are you saying, Rick?
Yeah.
Oh,
which races are you talking about? Rat?
I don't know, man.
They're running.
Well, you know what? It is somewhat of a rat race in the sense that, hey, we got other talk radio shows that we got to compete with, and hopefully we're providing a little something that's a little bit different, a little bit different flavor.
Yeah.
Something you might not find anywhere else. So.
Yeah. Yeah, you ain't gonna find this at Baskin Robbins.
99 flavors.
Sweet. Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah. So we were just kind of criticizing on Locke here a little bit. Again, we don't hold people up on a pedestal. No one is infallible.
No, we'll disagree on certain spots and trying to reason it out, trying to figure out what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Or show where we differ from them.
Yeah.
But agree with them on other things, just like we have discussions with people in public. You know, we will agree with them on some things and disagree with them on other things. Still be civil.
We agree with a lot of his philosophy here.
Oh, most definitely. So let's wrap this up. That way we can set up the atmosphere for Law and Order and polycentric law society, which is all what we're craving for. So here on section 49, thus in the beginning, all the world was America. Oh wow, that sounds like the New World Order there. Anyway, so that's in the beginning, all the world was America, and more so than that is now. For no such thing as money was anywhere known. I don't know.
I think he's talking about like how wilderness and not uncivilized. I think that's the context.
Yeah,
of
sure. I mean,
how far back is he talking about?
No doubt. Yeah.
Rome had money
in the beginning.
America. Yeah, in the beginning.
So find out something that hath the use and value of money amongst his neighbors, and you shall see the same man will begin presently to enlarge his possessions. Well, I don't know if that's
the natives use like beads and such.
Right. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can consider the enlargement of possessions and blame that on money. If anything, it's the division of labor and technology, which really has allowed more people to enlarge their possessions. I mean, as he pointed out, I mean, at the beginning, when we had no tools and no technology and we all had to make everything by hand from the get-go, possessions were very scarce to be found. But as technology improved upon itself and as ideas were passed along to the next generation and as wealth was passed along, hey, we all, we're heading towards universal prosperity. We're heading towards the annihilation and the end of poverty if we just allowed human progress to continue in its natural course.
Get the government foot off our throats.
It seems very primitive. It's like, and a lot of socialists come off like that too. Like, let's just make everybody broke, poor.
They just start back from zero and everything will be great again.
You don't need all that stuff. Reset button. You don't need all that stuff.
As they're texting you this on their iPhone or whatever. Yeah.
Capitalist pigs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's going to go on to diss on here on precious metals. But since gold and silver being little useful to the life of man in proportion to food, raiment, and carriage, has its value only from the consent of men. Again, if it has value from the consent of men, well, why are you judging the consent of men?
You don't like men having consent.
It's
I guess
a consented
not.
means of exchange. I mean,
I guess not.
And nowadays, it's got a lot of uses. So.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah. Welcome to the future, bruh.
Monatomic gold over here.
No
Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
So whereof labor yet makes in great part the measure. So we're still stuck on this labor theory of value. You can't blame the guy. Anyway, it is plain that the consent of men have agreed to the disproportionate and unequal possession of the earth. I mean, out of the bounds of society. Well, that wouldn't be consent. That would then be government. Disproportionate and unequal possession of the earth. Yeah, a group of men declaring themselves owner of a whole continent. That's definitely disproportionate, but that's not from consent. That's from conquest. So he's going on to say that I mean out of the bounds of society and compact. For in governments, the laws regulate it, they having it by consent found out and agreed in a way how many may rightfully and without injury possess more than he himself can make use of by receiving gold and silver, which may continue long in a man's possession without decaying for the overplus, and agreeing those metals should have value. So now we kind of hit the nail on the head here. We kind of saw what is Locke's reasoning that leads to this fallacious conclusion, and it's a misdefinition, a misidentification of what government is. He's assuming that government is a compact made by society out of consent, where people agree to these things, right? Agree to monies formed through government, and that's just that's
erroneous. Yeah.
Again, no government has ever been formed by consent. The idea of a social contract is a phantom, just like unicorns.
You're born, and then I don't know what age do they get you to sign the contract? Yeah, exactly. What?
Yeah.
Whenever they put the ink on your foot and stamp it on that certificate.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. You consented there when they stole
you didn't say no, so
they stole your birthright.
Well, I didn't know the language yet. I was going.
Yeah, that's all you knew.
So yeah, we can see the issue here. Locke believes that governments come out of consent, and therefore concludes that everything governments do, this unequal, what do you call it? Unequal, disproportionate possession of the earth. Since it comes out of consent, governments,
Why wouldn't it just be called consent then instead of government or something else?
Yeah,
government is not the right word for it.
Yeah.
If it's by consent.
And you can't blame the guy. I mean, this is long before anarchism ever came out as a philosophy. Long before people started questioning the idea of the social contract. And he was a guy to hypothesize or stipulate the idea of division of powers within government. So he was very much a minarchist, a statist in the sense. And it leads to this fallacious way of thinking. You hit problems in your deductive reasoning that you just can't get out of when you accept fallacies.
Yeah, and then there's also the perception of the time that he was in. The belief that there was governed by the consent. So
right, exactly. And belief is a lot different than knowing. It's just this blind faith in an idea.
Versus, still, he put his writings down.
Oh yeah,
and we've all been able to work from these ideas.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
And
build upon them.
And grow from them.
Yeah.
Just like many of great philosophers and influential people over time, they put out a product. It might not have been the best thing, but somebody came alongside and said, you know what? If we do this, and this with it, it'll make it even better.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And that's like free market.
That's not freedom. That's them property rights. So he finishes it up by saying that, and thus, I think it is very easy to conceive without any difficulty how labor could at first begin a title of property in the common thing of nature. We agree there. Labor transforms nature. And how the spending it upon our use bounded it, so that there could then be no reason of quarreling about title, nor any doubt about the largeness or possession of it gave. Okay. Right and conveniency went together. For as man had a right to all that he could employ his labor upon, so he had no temptation to labor for more than he could make use of. This left no room for controversy about the title, nor the encroachment of the rights of another. What portion a man carved to himself was easily seen, and it was useless, as well as dishonest, to carve himself too much, or take more than he needed. Yeah, well, prosperity gets passed down, and technology keeps improving itself, so we can expect less and less labor to be needed in order to gain more and more goods.
We're just going to have piles of stuff, Rick. And somehow that's bad.
I guess so. We should get rid of the plow then, just go back to shoveling dirt by hand.
If you got piles of stuff, you're probably going to want to sell some of that stuff you got.
I know you could start a pawn shop or something neat. You could be a pawn star.
Yeah, so, right.
Have a garage sale.
Post on eBay.
Call it Liberty Pawn.
Yeah, there you go. Come on, man.
Yeah, man, kind of put his foot in his mouth here at the end.
It's like, why didn't he just take everything he had and just
extend it?
Yeah.
It seems like economics may not have been his forte.
Well, he was just thinking out loud and I guess writing it down.
There must have been the part that he didn't reread it over.
It was nearing the end of his book. He needed to finish it up. He got to wrap it up. It happens. He had quite honed. And people evolve over time when they experience the ideas that they had come up with.
Oh yeah, we weren't when we first started discovering truth and questioning government. We weren't like throwing it all out right away. We were like, yes, it took a long time to get where we're at.
Yeah. Well, and you have to constantly do that, right? I mean, you have to constantly reanalyze and requantify your belief system and the assumptions or the conclusions that you've come to, and be willing to reanalyze those things. Revisit truth, revisit the knowledge that you think you have in your head.
Yeah, because there's always something new coming out about it. It may redefine how you conceive it.
Oh yeah, or easier ways. And
it's a beautiful thing to find an easier way or a new conception of something. That's just it brings a new love. It rekindles that old love that you used to have for knowledge.
You
and
go back now and start looking at some of those some 9/11 videos. You find a lot more stuff in it.
Oh yeah,
this is an example.
Yeah, with the 28-page cover up.
Oh yes.
That's rekindling my feelings.
That right there. That was a good segue. I didn't even mean to make it like that.
I know.
But it's been a pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, as usual. Unfortunately, we are coming into the end of this little
transmission.
Yes,
sir.
The waltz we like doing on this Wednesday, every Wednesday, 6 to 8 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Truth Exposed.
Every Wednesday.
And then whatever day you choose to play us in the archives.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And we are your three musketeers of liberty. Rick Rhodey.
Cuddy Rowe.
Marshall Soul.
Definitely stay tuned. We'll be back next week. And stay tuned because we got the crypto show coming up next.
Cryptos.
Definitely want to get up on them crypts.
Yes, sir. Crypt.
And we're going to be discussing the law next week, ladies and gentlemen. Once we've already gotten into property self-ownership, so look forward to breaking down a little bit of that law.
How do you protect your property? You got to protect it with law.
Self-defense.
Peace.